Welcome to Lunch with Biggie, a podcast about small business and creatives sharing their stories and inspiring you. My guests today have created a creative brand service and a shop that has original wares, knickknacks, local art, and impractical goods inspired by nostalgia. However, their work and their shop are more than fine or acceptable. It's more described as an inner child healing treasures. Please welcome the owners of Cromulent Creative and the creators of the Cromulent Basement, Paige and Genevieve Fisher. What's going on? How are you ladies doing today?
Doing great.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I know I've been hounding you guys for a while, so I appreciate you taking a few moments to have a lunch break with me. I always like to ask the question, what is your go-to lunch or sandwich?
It's a good question. I feel like I don't mean to butter up Genevieve right off the bat, but my favorite sandwich is a sandwich she makes. So she makes a really great grilled cheese. I'm a vegetarian, but cheese is probably my main food group. She makes an amazing grilled cheese with Munster cheese, provolone cheese mix, and then I dip it in hot honey, and it's killer for me. That's all I need. But a local sandwich, I feel like I go to Sideward a lot and get their tempeh Reuben. That's a real go-to for me.
I like if you've been to the Cromulent Basement, we're kind of right around the corner from Deli Desires, and I love almost anything from Deli Desires, but the egg sandwich and the BLT are my favorites.
We're there a lot.
Genevieve, I got some questions for you.
Okay.
And I'm not going to make it all food related because I want to talk to you about the two of you and what you guys are creating. But one, when you make the grilled cheese, what kind of bread? And then butter or mayonnaise?
So we usually just have sourdough in the house. So it's usually on sourdough.
Nice.
And butter. We're a butter grilled cheese house. Although I've heard that mayonnaise is the secret ingredient, and I'm curious to try it. I won't change up your favorite sandwich.
I'm up for a change. It's fine. You can switch it up. Just make sure you go back to my.
I will say that I do know some chefs that actually do a little bit of mayo and a little bit of butter mixed together and spread it. So if you want to go crazy, that's what it is. And then my other one, I'm not going to get into an argument about the hot dog, if it is or it isn't. My question is, what is it that you put? I know you enjoy hot dogs. What is it that you put on your hot dog? What's your hot dog go-to toppings?
I really like a Chicago dog. I don't have a go-to hot dog recipe. I think my favorite thing about hot dogs is that they're kind of like pizza, a great blank slate, and you can just kind of go crazy with them. And I like that. I like the wacky ingredients, and I like to go crazy, chips, whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, she's never said no. I feel like if there's a hot dog on a menu, she'll just get it. But
that's funny. No, my wife loves a good hot dog, and I enjoy a good hot dog as well. That's why I wanted to ask. Okay, so tell people about Cromulent Creative, and then how did that evolve into the Cromulent Basement?
Okay, that's it's a big question, and I think everybody that comes into the basement asks us this, and we still haven't figured out the perfect answer. So we kind of say when we met, which we met in 2014 online on Tumblr, because Genevieve was posting beautiful paintings on Tumblr, and I was flattering the artist and then asking the artist out for lunch. She lived in Canada, so that was not an easy thing to actually plan a date. Anyway, after quite some time, we got together. We're married now. So obviously things went well. She did go to lunch with me, but we were both kind of bonded by art right in the beginning. And our art styles are very different. So I'm much more graphic and doodly and cartoons. And she's very fine art, oil painting, large format paintings. So they're very different, but the common thread was always nostalgia, things that really made us happy in our childhood. And so we kind of just united in that, and Cromulent Creative was born. And it started with doing murals, honestly. We were how can we make that combined graphic art with big, large format paintings? And so we started doing murals in Canada. Then when we moved down here, there was so much open to us with the market scene with pop-ups. And that's how we met you. So obviously that was great right off the bat.
Also, that kind of coincided with us learning how much murals hurt your back.
Yeah. Man, I have so much respect for mural artists. I cannot afford a massage therapist, so we could not keep doing it. We do it for fun. We do it in our house and in our shop and stuff. We don't really do work anymore. But we started doing markets, and it was so cool to see how different that was here versus Canada. Just the market scene here is so much more open and friendly. We always say this, community versus competition. Everyone wants to help each other. And that just kind of started spiraling into this concept of having a shop where like a few, artists can come together and we can showcase that. It was born. We're sitting in the office that we work in, which is connected to the basement. And because we found this great office space that had a retail capability, we were able to do the basement.
It's such a fun concept. The store is great. I love the fact that when I walked in, I found out that Cromulent Creative was actually also so it was kind of like everything was all in one place. And it's a great little storefront. And obviously I'm very curious. This is the part where I'm kind of curious because you kind of alluded to this, Paige. So Paige, I know you mentioned graphics. So I know you like the Simpsons, cartoons, dogs, graphic design. Genevieve, you're more like the Dungeons and Dragons, Star Wars, Zelda, dogs as well, and fine arts. So I kind of want you to tell me a little bit about how you two sandwiched your two loves of fine arts and how do you come up with products for the shop?
That's a good question. I mean, I think we're kind of actively just figuring that. The whole heart of the shop is nostalgia and fandom. And so that covers both of the areas that we love. And I think that the thread, even though like the art style that we're drawn to and the art style that we each make is different, color is a huge thread through both of us and through what we want to showcase in the basement. Just like, I don't know, it's just like a nostalgic feeling, like that kind of like brightness and the way that like toys were made for you in the 90s and how like vibrant and exciting they were.
Yeah, definitely drawn to like bright popping colors. So like anything we can do that like, honestly, you're limited in some ways with like digital art with colors that can be printed. And so that's why it's so great that she is a painter and we can like let these colors come to life. And we should probably get more into like risograph printing and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, things that we can really showcase color. We're always drawn to that. Our stuff in the shop is mostly like paintings, prints, shirts, hats, stickers. We have other artists that contribute things like candles, greeting cards, coffee mugs, banners. We have a bunch of new products behind us right now, actually.
I saw it on your Instagram story. Where do you guys find all like your nostalgic influences? Like and obviously it's you growing up, but like, are there just certain things? Because I do see some like things that obviously like, and that's the beauty of like nostalgia is that it brings you back to as a kid, like the Snoopy and like the Bart Simpson and things like that. Like, but where do you find some of that nostalgic influence?
I think that's our special interests, really, for both of us. I think we're constantly actively seeking it out. We're media lovers, so even though we don't have a ton of time running the business to be consuming media, we are still trying to. We still have, old Star Trek on in the background while we're working on drawings. And I think Orlando is also uniquely a really amazing place that celebrates that actively. So kind of just being out in the community, you're constantly reminded of these things that inspire you, like going to like antique stores and vintage shops, and everything is just like celebrating that. Yeah, theme parks.
Yeah, I think
themed places.
Yeah, thematic entertainment here is so different than anywhere else I've ever been, and I think that does make it very easy to speak to people that even the people who aren't in the arts community have a unique love for the arts because they're here in Orlando, and Orlando is about that. So very cool.
Yeah, no, I agree with you very much when it comes to that. So Genevieve, so all the paintings and all the things that you guys do that you actually like all the paint, like I'm trying to describe how exactly to describe this. Like when you have all the cutouts and that are actually painted and everything, is that all you then that you create and you guys paint and do all of those things, like those wooden cutouts that are actually awesome paintings, like the fit, like I don't know why, but my brain, as soon as I say that, my brain thinks of the three-eyed fish from Futurama or The Simpsons, something like that. Like, is that something that you're creating and kind of, doing and painting and all those things?
Those are pretty collaborative, but they're really like, they come from Paige's design inspiration. So Paige will design something and whatever inspiration strikes, and then you'll cut that out. You'll carve that out of a piece of wood. And
they let me have power tools. So yes, I will cut that out of wood. It's just me in the front yard cutting that out of wood.
Yeah.
But then Genevieve makes it beautiful.
I will often be able to fix it. Yeah. And then Paige will seal it with the epoxy resin.
Yep. And then so as we talk, I always love talking to creatives in the sense of, because your ideas are always coming, and some of the things that you have, and I'm gonna try to see if I can somehow reach it while I'm talking so I don't destroy So like a perfect example, like this,
Yeah.
right? Like it's a mixture of things like, okay, so my question to you is when you're coming up with all these creative things and we have all these influences and all these things are coming, where do you keep all of this? Like where do these ideas are coming? Do you have like, are you old school notebook? Are you more of like, I'm typing it in my notes section? I'm always intrigued by like how you do that, because I'm assuming then there's got to be something where the two of you start talking and then things start kind of colliding and mixing and matching. And you're like, oh my gosh, what if we did this? And I'm kind of just curious on that creative process, like how it kind of comes together.
So she's incredibly organized. I wish you could see behind the, like on, so right now we're sitting in a room where there's one desk that we're sitting at right now on the computer, but there's a desk to my left and there's a desk to my right. And the desk to my left is Genevieve's desk, and it's pristine, beautiful. She has notes. She keeps a little, checklist every day of what we need to get done. And that's where she writes down her ideas. She has an idea. It goes down. Beautiful.
I love a list.
Jotted down. My desk looks like a bomb went off. Yes, see, she's very like that, very organized. Yeah, I'm writing stuff on little pieces of paper, napkins. I'll be in the shower and I'll yell out, I have an idea for a painting.
Don't let me forget.
Write this down. Yeah, I'm very disorganized and she's so organized. So
yeah, that's pretty much how everything goes in what we do. Is that there's a portion of it that's very organized and a portion of it that's just kind of thrown out, and we hope that it comes back into reality,
that we can remember to actually do it and bring it to life. And part of it is analog, like we do write down and sketch and do things in little notebooks, but we are also like half digital, so I'll do artwork on my iPad or whatever, and sometimes it doesn't ever come to life. It's just like a little sketch. But
yeah, I have a list on my notes app that sometimes I go back and I don't remember what it meant. Like I don't remember what the idea meant. I'm like, this probably would have been cool, but this is gibberish to me now.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm a mix of both of you, because I have the lists and I like started to get, but I'm obsessed with notebooks. So I have like all these notebooks, which is horrible. Like I have one for like gratitude and to-dos, and then I have another one that's like my idea list, because I was listening to the guy from the Savannah Bananas, and he does like top 10 ideas every day. So I basically been trying to get myself to like strengthen my mind to like come up with ideas regardless and just getting it out there. And so that, and at the same time though, I'm like you, Paige, where I'm like, I'll come up with an idea and I'll be like, Kristen, text me this, or I'm like, Bella, text me this, and then she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, don't worry about it, just text it to me so I don't forget. So I'm the same exact way, because it's like it comes in different times. And then I do have like a Google Keeps where I basically just like I just start shooting things in there, because it's kind of like a nice little open area to kind of keep things. So that's why I love hearing how people do it, because it is true though. You go back in and if you have a notebook and you like flip through and you're like, what was this? But then sometimes there's an idea with something else kind of mishmashes, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this works now. Like I understand, I can make this work. So that's why I'm always curious on people's creative process, especially the two of you, because I love how you guys mix it all up. So that's why I always kind of intrigued on how you guys do that. I want to know a little bit about the idea of making the Cromulent basement space look like a basement. And I'm glad you brought up the fact that it was Canada, because that was one of my questions, was like, where did you live before Florida? We don't have basements in Florida. But like, I want to know where that idea came from, where you're like, I want to make it a basement, and I want to make it, because the thing about the basement, and I want you to describe, like if someone were to walk into the Cromulent basement, explain to them how I almost feel like you're like the Stranger Things cast could probably like hang out there and like feel right at home. But the wood paneling, like the carpet, all those things, like I'm just kind of curious, like what inspired that? What, like, was it something you as a kid? Like, I just want to know a little bit more about that, like the aesthetics of what you guys decided you wanted to create, because you've done a hell of a job on it. But I just want to know a little bit more about how that kind of came about.
Yeah, well, Miss Canada, you can take it. I'm from Florida. I'm born and raised in Winter Park. So yeah.
Okay. I think we've known that the main vein for both of us is there's something nostalgic that we're really drawn to. That's what brings us back to art again and again. When we got this space and we knew that we wanted to put Cromulent Creative art in it and more, we were trying to think of what to do with that. And I just kept thinking, like, where did you want to be? Like when those nostalgic times that you're thinking of, when you were watching those movies for the first time and you were playing with those action figures, all of that was happening for me in Canada. All of that was happening in the basement. That was where the kids go to hang out. The upstairs living room is for nice stuff. The breakables are up there. You go down to the basement. That's where the carpet hasn't been changed. The wood paneling is cheap and it holds the insulation in. And if you put a hole in it, mom's not going to be too mad. That's the place where the old small TV was plugged in, and that was we wanted to transport people back there.
Yeah. And I think the Cromulent Basement sounds better than like the Cromulent Den, which maybe like Southerners would be more familiar with the den. But it doesn't really roll off the tongue. But we just wanted people to feel like they were walking into a cozy space that they were safe in. And my grandma actually came by for the first time. She lives in California. She just came by today for the first time ever. And she walked in and she's like, I feel like I'm in your house. And I was like, that's exactly what I want you to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What, I know in the intro, I kind of brought it up, but I am pretty sure you get asked this question because I have seen it on your website, the word cromulent. Can you share the origin story and why you decided to use that as for Cromulent Creative and also for the basement?
Yeah, cromulent it's in the dictionary now, but only as of just a few years. It's a word invented by the Simpsons writers. Actually, there are two words that I think most big-time Simpsons fans would know were invented by the Simpsons team, and that's embiggened and cromulent. And they both pop up in the same episode, which is Lisa the Iconoclast. But basically it means perfectly adequate or okay, acceptable. So it's kind of a dig. Honestly, Cromulent Creative technically means meh creative. But we started calling ourselves that in Canada. Actually, we were Cromulent Goods at the time. But when we started doing more brand work and helping other people with their design work, it just didn't make sense to be Cromulent Goods anymore, and we switched over to Cromulent Creative. But we thought it was kind of a little self-deprecating and also a nod to what our biggest influence, or my biggest influence is, The Simpsons. You love The Simpsons too, but maybe not so much. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, in The Simpsons, someone says the word embiggened and another character says embiggened. I've never heard that word before until I moved to Springfield. And another character says, oh, embiggened? It's a perfectly cromulent word. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Nice. I love that. So tell people a little bit about, because we've talked about the basement, but I want people to kind of know about the design side of the house as well. I guess we'll call it the upstairs part of the house. Tell people a little bit about Cromulent Creative, what you got, what you're creating, what you're doing, kind of what you provide. Because I think that is like, it's perfect because you're using that creative itch. Cromulent Creative is like the business side of it where it helps other people. But then you also have that creative side where you're now being able to do, because that's always, I'm assuming, always the hard part of a designer, creative, of fine arts, that you're working for someone else. Now this is kind of like, oh, I get to do my fun stuff in the basement and I do the upstairs stuff is the other stuff. So tell people a little bit about that.
This side of it, the creative side, keeps the lights on in the basement, but it kind of all works together. The creative side is more, it's brand work. We say that we provide creative solutions to whoever needs it. So on whatever scale that may be, we work with the salon stylist in the back of this building. We work with the barber next door, but we also work for brands like First Watch, restaurants, and Flippers Pizza Co. So we work with larger brands, usually with local roots, but still we do like smaller scale. Even if someone local says, I'm doing an event and I need a flyer, I have nobody on my team that kind of does that stuff. We do one-off jobs. Really, we just want to help other folks in the community get their vision that they have, whether it's like deep in their brain, just like pull it out and help them bring it to life. And we help people source where to get things printed, how to speak to a printer about the way they want things printed. Those are things that a lot of folks don't have a lot of background in, and we're happy to help.
I love that. How did you guys come about to finding the space? Was that something that like they approached you one day, you guys were just driving and you're like, well, what is this? Like, I've always, because I mean, it's such a cool concept. I wish more places they had more places like this that had like that aspect of, because I know like when I think of your space, the only other thing I can think of is Fat Ash has something similar at Milk Stacks.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of what I think of, like, and I'm like, what an amazing concept to be able to have kind of like storefront in the front, you know, and then like business in the back type of thing, or you know, other area in the back. So I was just kind of curious like how that kind of came about.
Honestly, it's always been the dream for us to find something like this because we're really big Bob's Burgers fans. And so we just like wanted where we could have a little something and then we could just go to sleep or whatever it may be. We used to drive by this building when it was being built. And I remember thinking that seems really close to Colonial. That like seems like a little, like you could get hit by, like it looked like they were building this building right on the edge of the street. And I remember
I remember that.
But now here we are and it's fine. But you actually found this building.
I went to get my hair cut and I went to Little Sister hair salon.
Yeah, Little Sister. She's awesome.
Yeah. And for my first time, and she was washing my hair and I was like, by the way, where are we? What is this building? This is really cool. And she said, yeah, I live on the other side. And that kind of just blew my mind. And there was still a vacancy.
Yeah. I think we came in the next day to speak to them about it because we were so enthralled. And I do hope that this is something that the city can offer more of, because I think the barrier to entry is so large for small business to get a storefront and to be trusted by a leasing agent, or to trust that wherever they're getting their space isn't going to fall apart on them and then they're responsible for it. This is obviously, it's an apartment building, so it comes with maintenance and it comes with all of these things that are a little scary and daunting for someone trying to start a business.
Yeah.
The city of Orlando has come by to check it out and see how it's functioning, and they seem really excited with it. And I hope that leads to more live work spaces being put together.
Yeah. No, I think I'm like, again, I thought it's phenomenal what it is and what it looks like and what you guys have the ability to do with it. That's why I was like, man, I'm like, this is so cool. I really do hope that there are more versions of this, because they are, like you said, there is a harder, like there's certain cities that do have certain things like I know Tampa even has, which I haven't even looked in a long time, of like shipping containers where you can like rent a shipping container. So that way it's like, and it's like, and like there's one place in particular in Tampa that actually is inside kind of almost like I would say almost like a Waterford Lakes type thing, but then like a parking lot part of it, they use like an extra add-on of the parking lot. They decided to make it all into like 96 shipping containers, which are then smaller versions, like small businesses. And I'm like, and I love things like that, because that's the thing that I love about what Orlando brings, is that we have all, like, you know, like you said, like all the different markets, all the different ideas that you can do and be able to do that. And there is a more apt to be more supportive and be able to kind of do something like that here, which I think is great.
Yeah, we should. I hope that is like on the forefront for this city. Like, it's cool to know that's happening in Tampa. I haven't even really like.
Yeah, I'll see if they still have it, because I spent a lot when I went. It was just like opening up, because I specifically was in the area and I was like, I need to go see this. And I was like, it was like 96 different shipping containers, because that's something that I think is just so fun, because I'm like, wow, I'm like, what a great little, like, same thing with like the little mini food hall things that like kind of are smaller, but I'm like, for a business to be able to do that, it's just something so great to be able to provide an extra way of being able to sell. Because that's the nice thing that you guys do, is you have the storefront, and then you guys also still have the ability, because it's, you know, to kind of go and actually sell at markets.
Yeah.
Which then obviously then is advertising to, hey, go back. You can shop me anytime online or at my store.
Yeah.
And do it that way.
Yeah. I told Jen this the other day, but I never want to stop doing the markets. Like right now, it's been really hard for us to balance doing both, because, you know, we do have I say employee. That doesn't even really make sense, but we have a friend, a team member. Yeah.
Team member.
Ryan Lamrot, he works with us often, and he'll be at the markets with us or be in our store. But it's still a very small operation, really, just 3 people trying to hold all the strings together. So it's hard for us to pop up at the markets right now, but we will be back to doing markets, because I love it. I love seeing everyone out there.
There's nothing like a market in Orlando. They're so fun.
It's so fun. Yeah.
They are, as long as the weather holds up.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
She said, as long as the weather holds up. So one of the things that I've been enjoying doing is having people talk about putting things into the universe. And so I want to manifest. I want you to kind of manifest a little, like, what do you want for the Cromulent Basement? What do you want for Cromulent Creative? What do you want to share and put out into the universe? You guys could do it together, do it separately, because hey, the more things you could put out there, the better is what I say, right?
Great, you got some stuff that you want to put out?
Yeah, well, I want to grow. I want us to grow. I want us to eventually have a bigger space for the basement. Personally, a big goal of mine, I don't know if you share this goal, is that we have the Simpsons arcade game at the basement. I want the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I do share that.
That's a big goal for me. I really want
Turtles in Time, maybe.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah, more arcade games, more free play games would be great.
Yeah.
I definitely I think like pie in the sky goal is I want a space for the basement that has easy parking, feels like you could walk there, pedestrian capabilities as well. I want it to feel almost like Cheers, like where you walk in and we remember you, you're welcome here. Maybe there's like a bar, a countertop bar where you can get a beer or a Diet Coke. Right now we offer free Diet Coke to anyone shopping in the store anyway. But I would love for you to be able to just sit down on a swivel bar stool, have a drink, play Turtles in Time, get a greeting card and a candle for the birthday party you're going to the next day, and, head out. That's my dream. I think about that every day in this space. I love what this space has been able to offer, but I think, parking is big and that's hard to find. But yeah, if we could grow and get a space like that, that would be the dream.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah. I mean, it's changed a lot over time, but that's
that's kind of, and I was curious about that. I was curious if if it's stepped up, because like if it was always like, hey, this is what I always wanted it to be, was like what you're saying now, or if that was something that you guys, now that you've now created the basement, now it's like, oh, now I know what the basement can become, and like and what it could be, because everything you're saying sounds phenomenal, where it could be like an amazing space where you could even have like place to play, be able to play maybe board games and things like that, maybe a little Dungeons and Dragons. Genevieve, what do you think? Like a little something like that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I could totally see that. It makes sense. Like you want something like almost similar to what you have in a basement, like when you were a kid in a basement to have. So I love that. And I love how it's evolved, and that's the beauty of it when it has with these things. What about, out of curiosity, do you have anything else to put in the universe for Cromulent Creative?
I would love to have more people feel like they can rent the space out too. Like for our brand, for people to feel like they own a little piece of it, like that they can come in for D&D nights and like they can say, can I just rent your space out from 8 p.m. to midnight and 6 of my friends go in and play D&D? Like I want the community to feel like they're a part of this and that they can have a piece by renting the space out for their fun and games. I think that would be cool. We haven't figured that out yet.
I was going to say, because you guys, especially because I think you guys open on Wednesday. So on a Monday or Tuesday, if it could make it hey, do your D&D on a Monday or Tuesday night, something like that. That'll be a lot of fun. I love that. I love that idea of being able to kind of think that way and kind of make it that way. And I think it'll end up evolving into that when you guys open up, in the future. Right now you're enjoying the basement, but right now, when you get a little bit bigger basement, you'll be able to kind of do more of those things. I love that. What advice do you have for someone wanting to start something?
I think honestly, this is something cool that I really like about the basement, but a lot of people that come in ask us that, right, to our face, how do I do this? How can I make this happen for me? And for me, the answer is I guess there's many different parts, but my advice is to just work, hard, but keep your joy, because if I didn't keep the joy or the fun or find a way to keep saying every day, we're having fun, right? I wouldn't be able to keep going because we work so much. We just work a lot. And I think you need to be prepared for that kind of stamina. So make sure that you really do have that spark of joy and that you keep it.
However you need to do that.
Yeah.
If you need to rest, you need to rest.
Yes. Find time for that. Find time to keep consuming the media that's inspiring the thing or whatever it is. And this is not something that is accessible to all people, but having a partner that can really be a sounding board, of whether it's a friend or a family member or someone that you can confide in and speak to about your dream, and they can keep encouraging you. I would never be able to do this without Genevieve. Where like I literally, if I'm falling over, like I'm falling onto her, she's leaning, like we're walking together, like to keep each other up. But yeah, if you can find someone to just like cheer you on, cheer each other on, I think partnership is such an invaluable thing.
Yeah. I have 2 pieces of advice. And actually one piece we got from you, which is if you're new to this and you're starting in the market scene, get bed risers for your table. It is a game changer. Bring your product up to the people. They want to see it. Nobody wants to hunch, especially if they have an umbrella.
And you can paint them. We painted ours to look like dinosaur feet. Do whatever. Bed risers, man. That was such a good tip. You told us that at the first market we ever did.
I think that was the first thing. I think that's like the first thing I tell everyone, because I'm like, especially when you have such great product, and I'm like, and unfortunately we are lazy people. A lot of people are lazy or don't want to bend over. So no, that's a good one. What's the second one, Genevieve?
Invest in your business. It's hard when you're starting. It's really hard, and everything feels like it's going to be a huge hit to your stability. Like purchasing prints that nobody wants to buy. You thought it was a great idea and they don't sell. That happens. But you just have to keep investing in your dream. And it's hard and you have to be patient. But that's part of believing in yourself is keep on coming back to that. And the more you do it, the more you're able to do each week and each month and each year. But it's not easy. But yeah, you have to be patient.
Yeah, I think we say this like a lot to each other, but like we have to know our worth, and like you want your product to be worth that person's money or whatever they're investing in you. So I would never want someone to get something from us that falls apart or, you know, isn't at that value that they think it's going to be. So we take it so seriously to research sticker quality or like print quality or whatever we're going to get, because we really care. And we put so much research behind everything we do, because, and sometimes money, and we don't have any. But, you know, whatever buttons we have in our pocket or whatever, we put it towards the products for the people so that they can get the best value.
You hit on something that is so tough, because especially, and I obviously sympathize and understand, because me as a clothing brand, you know, I'm constantly coming up with ideas. Not all ideas are great, or I think they're great, and oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And then when I released it, I was like, no one's buying it. It's crickets. Yeah. And then sometimes I'm like, am I too far? Like, am I too ahead of the game? Like all of a sudden, and then sometimes I'm like, and then you kind of, it's a hard line, because you have to like, you don't want it to affect your creativity of coming up with ideas, because that's part of what I like. Like, to me, these are all like ideas that I spark, and I get to see it come to life, and then I get to see it. And then you do all these things, and then when you don't get like the what you think is going to be, like this is going to hit, and it does not.
Yeah.
It's a bust. Then you're like, oh crap. And then it makes you almost gun shy sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Doubt every idea after that.
Yeah. I think that happens to everyone. I think even like the big names out there have bummer products. It doesn't mean you're like a bummer creative or a bummer person. Like,
yeah, everybody flops. It's just a hit to your wallet. Keep going.
Yeah, don't consider it like a creative failure. And especially if you loved it. That definitely happens to us. And then this will happen where we'll make something that no one loves it doesn't sell, and we're just about to pull it away. And then something happens in the greater collective consciousness where suddenly everyone wants across
a wave.
Yeah. And you're just glad you held on.
That's for me a lot of times what happens too. Like I'm like, okay, well, when do you make that right call of when to let it go and be like, okay, it's gonna go on sale because let's just get it out of my life, get it out there, because it's, you know, and out of my inventory versus it becoming, oh, this is now becoming something I need to reorder. I need to do more of this or figure it out. Yeah, it's very interesting, and it's sometimes where I'm like, man, every time like I get so excited, and you know, and that's kind of has to be because you put all this time into coming up with something, creating it, designing it, producing it, spending the money for it, and then having to deal with it, and that's something that I think is very difficult. And then a lot of times you just kind of almost have to have like, I just don't want it to fight I don't want it to dim my light when I'm coming up with creative ideas, because you sometimes have to go a little bit and stretch and be like, well, maybe I'm ahead of myself, or it's just, this isn't the time for it and it'll come back. And I don't know, I guess I'll find a space in somewhere in a closet or something, or I'll keep it in the box to see. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that just does happen. And I think other things where like you'll have an idea at the same time as someone else and you'll launch something that seems very similar to someone else's idea. And we call it the idea well. But like once you think of something, someone else is probably also thinking of it. And that doesn't take anything away from your creativity. You just kind of have to acknowledge that everyone has their own ideas and their own loves. And something that you make is maybe going to make one person happy. And that's great.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's going to make 100 people happy, and that's even better. But, you never know.
No, I totally agree with that. And I do have had ideas like that where I've actually will go and come up with something and I'll start Googling it to see, like, am I missed? Like, does someone else possibly come up with this? Because at the same time, you don't want to be inspired by somebody else.
Yeah.
But then you're like, well, maybe I want to do my own version of it anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
Or then I'm like, oh, I lost it. I'm like, I just can't do it. I'm like, so yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that.
I think I'll have like a genius idea and I'll yell it out of the shower. Google this and see if anybody's ever done it. And she'll be like, yeah, 100 people have done it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it's not that genius. But like, you just never know.
Has there been something that you guys have created that, since we talked about obviously like what could be a dud, but I want to know more of like give me, if you can think off the top of your head, is there something that you either were surprised that you guys created because you guys enjoyed it and then it hit you didn't expect it to be as popular as it was? And also, like, what are some of the popular items right now in your store when they come in? What are some things that you're noticing a lot of people are trending towards, like, or gravitate towards when they walk into the store?
I think the thing that surprised me the most that I think a lot of people maybe even associate with our brand is this little, like, a doodle I did on like a little scrap of paper when we lived in Canada. That was Mickey Mouse with the I'm not a state, I'm a monster Simpsons reference on like just a blue background. And I had just drawn that on a little piece of paper when we lived there. And then I drew on my iPad and we got it printed. And now when people come in, they're like, oh, my friend got me that at a market, or, like they recognize it. And I'm like, it's so crazy. That was such a, to me, silly little mashup.
Yeah. I always feel surprised when something goes really well, honestly. So I can't think of something because when it happens, I'm like, oh, wow.
You painted your favorite scene of Ripley in Alien,
mm-hmm.
and people really resonated with it. And I loved that.
Yeah. And I didn't think they would because I kind of made all the colors wrong. I just did it while you were having a nap one day, and I was like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I started painting it, and I was really happy with how it turned out. And we just had it up in the office for a good minute. And then I said, let's move this to the shop. People were excited about it. I was really surprised.
So that's cool when that happens. I think honestly, Blinky, the three-eyed fish that you referenced, I love him so much. Our last name is Fisher. I love anything fish related. So he's always been like and he's one of the only crossover characters between The Simpsons and Futurama. So that's also
I was right. Okay, good. I was right. Yeah.
Nailed.
All right. Give me props. I knew because I've watched enough Futurama, and I was just like, I think it's a mix of both. So I'm like, okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So I did a woodcut of him, and it really just seemed like it resonated with more people than I thought it would, which is so cool because something that I also really like in the basement is I want people to feel seen. Like they come in and they're like, that was something that really meant a lot to me as a kid, and now here it is. And I actually feel seen by a lot of people coming in and seeing stuff that they like that we made. So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
As far as like bestseller in the shop right now, what do you think it is?
I think it's our hat.
Our basement? We have a hat. Yeah, we have a hat that says Basement Dweller, and it fits everyone's head. It's so crazy. Like, I don't know what happened. It's the Sisterhood of the Traveling Hat. So that's probably our bestseller. It's just like green and orange and like.
And I think that's surprising because we're artists, so we're not like apparel experts. We did try to source a really good hat, but we didn't realize it was going to be the hat that made everybody just look so beautiful and handsome.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming more hats are going to be made with that same hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good. I like hearing that.
Stay tuned.
Yes, I like hearing that. Okay, so where can people follow you? Where can they shop and support you?
Well, you can follow us around our neighborhood. We walk the dogs every day.
No, don't tell us. Our address is, you can follow us at Cromulent Creative. on Instagram. Our shop is on East Colonial in the corner of Fern Creek in the Alexa Mills 50 building. It's the Cromulent Basement. We do have an online store at cromulentcreative.com. We sell Cromulent originals there, so we don't currently sell any of the other artists' work online. It's growing, and we're still kind of building the plane while we fly it. But yeah, you can.
Cromulent originals are also available for wholesale.
On Fair.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. You two, you are awesome. Since I've met you, I'm so glad. I love seeing everything that you guys, the growth and everything, and I'm just super excited for the two of you. It truly is wonderful to see. That's one of the reasons why I've been kind of hounding you, is because I wanted more people to know about your story and how it started and how it is and how it's going, because I do see a lot of growth, and I think the Cromulent Basement, I just think it's an awesome concept. I just think it's like super fun, because it is exactly what you guys are about with the nostalgia and everything else. So I definitely appreciate you guys being on the show. And with that said, thanks for being on the show today. To Paige and Genevieve of Cromulent Creative and Cromulent Basement. I definitely appreciate it. Make sure to check them out. If you need some design work, go to Cromulent Creative. You need I need some nostalgia. I just want to go somewhere fun and drink a Diet Coke and hang out with them and do some shopping. Or maybe I got a D&D group. Maybe you can just reach out to them. But if you want to go and enjoy them, definitely please go to visit them. Go get a Deli Desire, go get some food, then walk over and do some shopping. It's definitely great. If you want to support me, check out my brand, Deli Fresh Threads. Do some shopping, tell your friends there as well. And obviously, thank you till next time. Keep eating sandwiches and follow your passion.